Welcome back, guys. Brad here with part 2 of our Intro to Perspective video. It's a series now, I guess. We've got our intro one, so if you haven't watched that, go check that one out now, because I do talk about what perspective is. I talk about linear and atmospheric perspective. So check that one out, and then come back and watch this one. This one we're talking about linear perspective. And I'm not going to go through in great detail, because that would just take way too long. I usually do these lectures and they take about an hour and a half or so, and I'm not going to do that on YouTube, and I'm not going to do that to you guys here. So I'm going to go through it really quickly for a few reasons. One, time. Two, I know many of you already have experience with linear perspective, at least in at some level. You know, you've maybe taken, you've done like those drawings with the cityscape, with the road going through the buildings, or you've done the railroad track at the railroad station drawings with the telephone poles and all of that. So those are awesome. And so if you've done that, you are you're doing great, because you've already learned the how-to. But if you haven't done that, go check out some of the other instructors, the other YouTube video instructors. There are so many great instructors out there that break it down and show you the how to do linear perspective. And you can copy right along with them. And I would like to do a little bit of that, but I'm going to kind of go through it really quickly, because I'm more interested in kind of showing you the whys and the application aspect of it. That's what makes this video just a little bit different. So anyway, let's get started on the how-to. All right. So again, just a reminder, linear perspective, well, it's a type of perspective, but it's a system that allows artists to accurately depict the rate in which parallels recede into space. All right, so you're thinking about parallels like objects, basically what we're talking about, but it doesn't have to necessarily just be objects. It can be any other parallels that you see in nature. So for example, right here, I got my dry board eraser. That's what it's called. Okay, dry board eraser. That's what we have here. And notice this line and this line, these edges, the extremities of this dry erase board marker, these are parallel. This line and this line, they're parallel. That means they will never intersect. We'll just keep going. Sorry. They'll just keep going on and on and on forever. They're never going to intersect because they're parallel. But they're parallel in nature. And likewise, this line and this line, these are parallel in nature. There's 90-degree, well, sort of 90-degree angles right there. But if we were to turn it, see, like that, these parallels look like they're going to converge. And so if they go back and back and back, where would they just keep going? These parallels, but they're converging, and eventually those lines will intersect with each other. And where they intersect, that is going to be a vanishing point. That vanishing point also, just so you guys know, determines your eye level. Okay, it's on the horizon line with your 1-point perspective, which we're going to cover right now. And by the way, sorry, I keep looking over here. It's not because I'm avoiding eye contact. It's because I have my camera reversed, and so I can see you I can see myself on my phone. So I'm not avoiding eye contact, just being weird right now. Okay, bye. So this is, I think, one of the more typical ways that it's taught, linear perspective, that is, at 1 point. And what you'll see is most people, they say, all right, now you start off with the horizon line. Okay, and so just make a line. I always think it's helpful when you're doing perspective to try to, when you're doing it in your sketchbooks or in your note on paper and stuff, or your canvas, whatever you're doing on, try to keep your horizon line parallel with the edges of your canvas or your paper, and perpendicular, obviously, to the edges. I think that'll be better. Otherwise, you'll have like kind of tilted horizons, and like Bob would say, your ocean would just run off the page or something like that. So anyway, this is more like the typical way that they would do it. have a horizon line. All right, and then they just say put a dot on here. This dot is going to represent your vanishing point. I'll just put a VP in there. All right, so this is totally arbitrary right now. But then they'll say, you know, pick a form or make a rectangle. All right. So you make a rectangle, and then what they'll do is you go to the extremities of those the edges of the rectangle here. And so from these corners, you go back to your vanishing point every single time. All right. Get that? So here's from this angle. So that's this one facet. That's this one side. And then from this side, it's going to go back, always to your vanishing point from the edge in 1 point perspective. So you just go from those edges all the way back to your vanishing point. And then what's most of the time they'll say, like, well, then you would just determine how far back you want this object to go. Do you want it to be a cube where it has 6 equal sides? Right? This is a cube. Now sometimes people call these things cubes. That's not a cube. This is a cuboid. That's a fun word to say, but it would be a cube if these were all 6 equal sides, but this only has 4 equal sides and 2 unequal sides. So anyway, that's a little different. So if you don't, that doesn't really matter. You can call these whatever you want. The application is what's important. So this is a cuboid. And so how far back do you want your cuboid to go? Well, you just say right there. Now, when you make this line needs to be parallel with this line. They're parallel in nature, so they're going to be parallel in your drawing in 1 point perspective. Okay? So that line comes over there. And then from there, this line is going to come straight down because this is that edge. And so if this is a cuboid, it's going to come straight down. So this line and this line are going to remain parallel. Okay? Then you can erase your other lines, and there you have a form drawn in 1 point perspective. Now, if you want to draw the interior parts of this, which can also be useful, you do the same thing. You just connect from, well, let's just say we're going to draw this bottom facet of this thing. So we already got this line that goes back here like that. Well, we have another one that goes back there like that. Okay, which is helpful too. So if you wanted to draw like a box that was open and laying outside, so you could have, you know, I don't know, oh no, snakes coming out of the box. Okay, so I don't know, it's been tipped over. Tip that box right back up. You don't want those snakes to get out. Okay, so that's the idea. So that would be how you draw like kind of the inside line. Now that inside line goes back. Well, this line's going to come straight down because if you think about it, you're basically just going to make the opposite facet back here. So this line is going to come straight down because this line and this line, in 1 point perspective, they're always going to remain parallel. Okay, and then from there, where they intersect, where they meet, that's going to give you that edge for this facet right here, and it should just go straight across. It's fairly straight. I'm not using rulers or anything or gridded paper, so. Just freehanding it, and it's straight enough. It's got a little wiggle room in there. Okay, but basically that's like the interior parts, or see-through. You could see all the different parts. And so if you want, you can erase parts of it. And now you've got that box upright, and the snakes are in there, and they can't get out. Actually, they probably could, so you'd want to seal that up so they don't get out. Okay, so that's how you can draw like a form, just kind of arbitrarily in 1 point perspective. And then you know people, you know, they'll draw them like on the horizon line. So you'll make some sort of form. All right, let's make it opaque here. And then again, it's just this line is going to come straight over here, this edge. Okay. And so if it were to go on and on and on forever, like it was like a wall, that's what it would look like. Or if it was a wall that went on and on forever, it would continue on like this. Sorry, it's not perfectly straight, but you get the idea, right? Okay, so let's put that wall back in here, or this not wall, this edge. Okay? All right. And so now let's just say we want to, we don't want this to go back and back all the way to our vanishing point. We want it to end right here. So let's bring our horizon line back. And now we have a form on our horizon line. Could easily turn this into a house or whatever, building. You can turn it into cars or whatever. So that's how you draw that one. You can draw them up in the sky. It's the same way. It's just like you could just turn this around. I mean, I guess I'll make one in the sky just quickly. And here it goes. Sorry, it's not my best. I should probably do it better than that. Okay, there's my vanishing point. Well, and this is actually kind of interesting. I just put it up there kind of arbitrarily. But you can see, you don't really see much of these edges because it's kind of right in the middle. This vanishing point is right here. So hopefully that makes sense. Means you're looking right on the edge of this. You can't see this side or this side. All you can see is this bottom facet, just kind of like here. But if we were to move this over, let's say we move this, whatever this is, this brick up in the sky, we move it over here, and you're standing in the same spot. It goes back here just like this. And again, how big do you want it to be? So this line are parallel. This line, in 1 point perspective, always remains parallel. So that's basically what how to make forms, how to make cuboids in 1 point perspective. And what's cool about this is you can use this to build with. You know, it's kind of like Legos or Duplos or whatever, building blocks. All right, I'm not paid by Lego or anyone else for this video, as you can imagine. Oh, all right, so you guys get it? You can build with these things, and maybe I'll show you that. Yeah, I'll show you right now. I won't even pause. Let's just keep going. All right, so if you wanted to kind of build off of this, and this is what's fun when you understand perspective and learn how to make those forms. You can just make stuff up however you want. So like I said, if you want to make a wall, okay, you got a wall there. You can make a door in that wall. Erase that. In fact, here and then in 1 point perspective, let's say we wanted just to make this line is going to remain parallel if we want to put the inside part of this. People often forget that. This line and this line, your horizon, are always going to be parallel in 1 point perspective. This line's going to come straight up. This line is also going to be parallel with that horizon line. It's going to be right there. Yeah, hopefully you guys can see that. And then from here, you go back to your vanishing point, and it goes out that way. And so, let's continue that horizon line. Well, anyway, you got like a hole in the wall right there that they can easily walk through. Likewise, you could put like a rug on something, and so now you're just drawing facets, sides of these things. So you don't have to draw. You don't have to start with the rectangle part of it. You don't have to start with the rectangle and build it out, kind of like what I'm doing here. Although if you wanted to do that, you certainly could. In fact, you could make a bed or something like that. I don't know. But if you just want it to be a rug, you just draw one facet of it. You don't have to draw all 6 sides. You just have to draw one side. Likewise, if you're going to put a poster up on your wall, you don't need to draw all like a rectangle first and then build off of it. You just need to draw one side of that facet. So it's going to go from here, goes out this way, and there you go. You got a poster up on that wall. All right. So hopefully that is helpful. Again, I want to go through this pretty quick because I don't want to take up too much of your time here. But we could just turn this into a room. So there we go. And if you ever lose your vanishing point when you're doing these drawings, just follow these lines that are parallel in nature, but you see them converging back to where they converge, and that would be your vanishing point. That's telling you where you are located in relationship to these objects. Okay, so you can see you can build on these things. Like I said, with like the Legos and stuff, you can just build on these forms. It's actually really fun. You know, you can just say, oh, I want something coming up here. All right. Well, that looks flat. Well, you'd have to go over, straight across. Remember, in one-point perspective, you're going to be right on the horizon line. All right, and so how thick is this? If I made it really thick, it'd be kind of weird, right? You'd be like, something's hanging off back there. Let's see. So let's just think about this. So that looks like it should be about the same width there. Anyway, so it's like Legos, and you can build stuff out from here. You can imagine, so here's this wall right here. Let's just build something off of here. This would just make, so if you want to just make a rectangle, sorry, it's not my best rectangle I've ever drawn. Okay, well that's come off here. Okay, you see that? We got a rectangle coming off here. Now it looks very thin, but let's go back to this point, our vanishing points. And how deep do you want it? We could have it going all the way back to the wall, or maybe let's just have it go right here. Erase those other lines. And then we'd have this top part. So this part's going to go straight back. It's pretty thin right there because we're getting close to the horizon line. When you get close to the horizon line, if you look at something just eye level, for example, like if you're seeing this, you can see the top part. As I bring it up, that top part that disappears because it's eye level with you now. So now you can see the top part. And notice too, like these edges. See how they just become more and more. They get more and more severe as you get closer. They get like almost straight across. Anyway, hopefully that's pretty cool. And then this edge, where does it end? Well, go back from this corner back to your horizon line. There you go. So you can see it's really cool. You can actually build on here like it was Legos, or you want this to come back out. Cool. Let's make it. Oops, sorry, that's not my best line. All right, then straight down. Erase that. Now we got a different facet right there. Now if I make it go back that way, it's going to be too close to the door. Let's extend this out. All right. Make another rectangle on here. Let's just build this out here a little bit. This line will come down. Connect these lines down here. See, you can build stuff on here all day long. It's fun. You know this this like rug that we had out here. Just put a line. Go like this. Now there's a hole in the wall, or a hole in the floor rather. Okay, and so you can do so many cool and amazing things with perspective once you learn how it works. Again, this is just one-point perspective, and if you need more kind of tutorials or kind of the earlier stages on here, you can let me know, and I'll get back to you. But you can also check out some of those other videos on YouTube. There's a lot of where they kind of walk you through it, so you can learn these things pretty easily. Okay, and by the way, this isn't easy. I make it look easy sometimes, but and it is easy when you understand it. But initially, this can be rather confusing. But hang in there, you will get it. I know you will. Okay. Sorry guys, there's more. We just have to end this video really quick because I was taking too much time. So when we come back for part 3, I'll continue going over linear perspective, and I'll talk about some application for it and some just general advice on when to use it and how to use it effectively in your drawings. Then when we finish that up, we've got atmospheric perspective, which hopefully will be short and sweet. And we'll see you next time.